request Honorable Chief Guest, Mrs. Devika Nadig, to please come and address the gathering and share her experiences about today's program.
So we have a double-edged sword here. I think that most of you must be wanting to go home, pick up your children and go. But I have a task to do, which is to address you. So I thought that I'll try and make it brief. Although, having been a teacher all my life, I have one particular occupational hazard, which is I speak a lot. I'm not able to contain what I want to say in a short way, but I'm going to try and make it short for you. And now, we have all these devices, so as I was sitting here and going through this marvelous performance by such adorable children, I think the best stage to watch them is this stage, when they're not too young and they're not too old, and this is the time that they are at their best and they are at gay abandon. And this is the best time that the parents also enjoy, because look at the hall, it's full, And all of you are so keen to see what your children are doing. So, before I begin, good evening, President Kushal Hegde and my dear friend and my brother. He is Balajit Shetty, Mr. Chandrahar Shetty, who was there but he has disappeared now. And the other members of the management who were probably not able to come for some reason or the other, but I'm missing them. The heads of the schools and the other institutions, Harkudisar, Kannada Medium, Badri, Chittaven Junior College, and of course Jyoti Katkol, who has been the host of this whole event, and a very old and a very dear friend, Jayashri Pai, who also has spent enormous time leading Abhinav Vidyalaya. We used to be competitors at one point. So for those of you who might not know me from my days here, just to give you an introduction, this has been my Karma Bhumi. So my Janma Bhumi is in Madhya Pradesh. But my Karma Bhumi has been KHS primary section. And no other. Although I went on to become a principal of secondary section for some time, even of junior college, even in the Aundh branch and so on. But I think I left my heart and my soul behind at Ketkar Road. Unforgettable tenure. The best years of my professional life were spent there. It was here that really I learned, firstly, to lead the teachers, to reach unattained professional milestones, and so many of them are here today. From those days, they're still here. And secondly, follow all the children in their own innocent explorations, both inside as well as outside the classroom. Frankly, I feel doubly blessed to have started my school leadership career in a primary section, because it is here that you learn to retain your own childlike qualities, When you're working with children, you remain a child. Thank God I didn't start in secondary section. With all due respects there. I went there too. Also went to junior college. But this is where you remain a child. And I mean childlike and not childish. There's a difference. To retain that innocent curiosity, inquiry, the spirit of trying to explore, thank God I was here. You gain access to this inner nature when you're working with children, and life becomes fully joyful. Like in my introduction, they must have said, it was a different photograph. Jyoti has been collecting them, I think. All right. So they said that I come from Madhya Pradesh, and therefore, if you ask me which is my favorite language, it is Hindi. Okay. Though I think I'm very fluent with English, and Marathi is my mother tongue, and I think I'm fluent there as well. But today, so much of poetry, So much of music. I train teachers now, and I often ask them this question, and this question is to all of you sitting here as well, parents. Which was the last time that you bought for yourself a book of poetry? On Amazon, on Flipkart, on wherever. कभी एक कविता की किताब खरीदी आपने? आपके स्कूल के छोड़ने के बाद? No one. Unless you pursue literature, you leave poetry in school and you walk off. But that is the soul of life. And so today it was so imbued with poetry and so much of music. Thank God you're doing it at this stage. It will remain with them for life, you know. We remember our poems for life. I mean, you were doing Savarkar and probably everybody was in tears. Because you grew up in Maharashtra and that brings tears to your eyes. But I grew up in Madhya Pradesh and something else brings tears to my eyes. And when I was sitting over here, I was remembering एक बहुत अच्छे कवि हैं गोपाल दास जी नीरज. You may or may not know. But he says, and I want this is a compliment for primary section, my life there and what I saw on stage today. He says, जब रस ढूंढा तब यश न मिला. In life, when I wanted to look for something which was giving me happiness, I didn't get success. जब रस ढूंढा तब यश न मिला, और जब यश ढूंढा तब रस न मिला. But here in KHS Primary, I was able to attain both yash and ras. Ras, because of all these people who are here. The staff, the teachers, the children, all of you parents, the management, and yash, because all these management people sitting here who are today my friends, and at that time we used to be arguing about various things, gave me such a free hand. And they continue to do that for all the other school leaders, which is the best thing about you having your children here. It's the best place you could ever be in. This evening's scintillating performance could never have had the same charm had it been performed by older children, I can tell you that. Especially in today's world where children grow up so fast. Before we think that we have hugged them enough and kissed them enough, they're gone. They just walk out of your house and fly out of your home before you can say Jack Robinson. So this is the time that we enjoy them the most. Mrs. Gadgol might have heard stories of the myriad concerts that we put up in KHS Primary when I was there. She was telling me in the green room today that there is not a single day that she doesn't hear about something and that must be irritating you a lot, I'm sure. Okay, constantly. But if there was any kind of a clock which could have taken us back into those times, and if there was a lens which allowed us to see what was it, you would have seen me east, west, north, south, up, down, everywhere, taking rehearsals myself for all the concerts, script writing, and I know you are doing it, I can see it. I saw it when you stood there for Vande Mataram, because I know that was your finale and you wanted it to be perfect. And that is the way it has to happen, and that is the sign of a great institution. When leaders are up on their toes, when children are there and performing and not sitting in their ivory towers, so kudos for that, all of you. अब एक परिवर्तन की मेरी दरख्वास्त है, my request. ये राणा प्रताप के लिए भी स्मोक, वो ओडिसी के लिए भी स्मोक, Gandhi also smoked. Everybody went up in smoke, yeah. I mean, stop that smoke. We have had that smoke machine like for years, you know. When I was looking at that and looking at the marvelous costumes of the children, I remembered that I used to myself go to, I don't know where you go today, but we used to go to MacDrape. Is it still there? MacDrape. It's there. We used to go to MacDrape. Everybody was in a rush. You know, 20 salwar kurta, 20 ghagras, so many pagdis. I want this, I want that. Because all the schools were there, including Jayashree School. All the schools were there together. Symbiosis, Abhinav of Karnataka. Everybody was there. Concerts at the same time. There was a board there. Janna ghai ahe tanni itha thambu na ye. Tumhara na hai na ghai. Just 2 minutes more. This is what I'm going to take. Thank you for inviting me today. and for helping me relive that glorious past. As for today's concert theme, I must confess one thing, I never knew that this was the theme when you said Parivartan, when I saw the card. I thought you were talking about Parivartan, or some change in environment, but when you explained and when I went through this, I was trying to jot down a few things as I sat next to Mr. Hegde, and I was telling him I'm writing down a few things that I want to say in terms of Parivartan and what I'm seeing right now. You said Gandhi, and Gandhi himself said, be the change you want to see in the world. He said that. That's the most famous line. You did Odissi as an opening dance, and the Kalinga war was in Orissa. And the Parivartan was in Emperor Ashoka, because he embraced Buddhism. What I thought you could do, as I give you some more examples and take up a little bit more of your time, I mean, Jhansi Ki Rani, the Parivartan is change in the doctrine of lapse. Thoda itihas yaad hoga. The doctrine of lapse and the change in the policies of annexation. Lagan, the Parivartan in taxation. The Ganpati festival that you showed with Lok Bane Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Parivartan hai na, Pune mein to bahut hai. Only Shadumati Ganpati. Festival remains the same. So the Parivartan has to also come in our daily life, in our thoughts, in our views of how we have looked at everything. Long years ago we made a tryst with destiny, and today the time has come to redeem our pledge. Not fully or wholly, but very substantial. Nehru said, "Bhai, Angrezi mein kyun bola?" Prime Minister Modi speaks in Hindi. Parivartan hai. I just want to point out the changes which are happening today and now. And you said, don't be stuck with history. Who said? Narayan Murthy said, don't get stuck. We don't want our children to get stuck with what they have learned in their textbooks. And we've been exchanging a lot of notes, Mr. Hegde and I, about what we learned in childhood and what is actually history. M.S. Swaminathan, that you showed an agricultural movement. Do they know that Soumya Swaminathan, who was constantly on television during COVID, is his daughter? She was in WHO. She was constantly on television. Do our children know? Chauthi ke bacche chote nahi hain. We should be able to tell them what is happening. Do they know that the Amul whole thing about the white revolution and Korean, do you know that the world is turning vegan now? And that there is lactose intolerance? That is Parivartan. Are we talking about that kind of Parivartan or not? We talked about Kargil and Vikram Batra, all salutes to him. But did we talk about surgical strikes? Because that is the Parivartan. The way we attack has changed. So what Parivartan have we been able to bring about in our children who participated today? The third and the fourth, they are not very young. This is the time to mold it. This is the time to sow the seed. So I'm giving you a project. Bad habit that I have. Let them write. Let them discuss. What are the small changes that they are seeing in their own life? What did they learn out of all this? ये तो बड़ा मजा आया, बहुत बढ़िया था, बहुत आपने रुपए भी खर्च किए होंगे. This is great fun. But every concert has to have a takeaway for the children. They have to remember what they did, why they did, not just the role they played, but they should be able to talk about what is the meaning of change and what are the changes they are seeing in their own life. History, the whole thing was history today, right? The whole thing was history. I have been a history teacher, by the way, as well as an English literature teacher. The only thing I know in my life is to teach. I've always taught. I'm still teaching, but now I'm teaching teachers. So history is never the truth. History is never the truth. It is somebody's interpretation of the truth. Whoever is writing, her or his interpretation of the truth. One small joke as we close. We all said Indus Valley civilization. Sindhu Ghati ki sabhyata. 5,000 years, we dug it up and we said, acha, aise rehte the. This was the drainage system, aisa hota, taisa hota, etc. I don't know whether you've ever visited Noida, people sitting here. Delhi, Noida, Uttar Pradesh. When Mayawati was the chief minister, she erected huge elephants, the symbol of BSP. Big statues everywhere. When I'm talking to teachers of history, I often say this. एक दिन वो भी सभ्यता जाएगी. One day all of us, this is all going to get covered in a mound of mud. We know that. Not tomorrow. Maybe 1,000 years later. It will get covered. Somebody will dig us up. Somebody will come and dig it all up. They will find Mayavati. They'll find an elephant. And they'll say, maybe she was a goddess, yeah. At that time, maybe on the planet there is no elephant. Their interpretation of truth. History is only an interpretation of truth. Teach our children that. Yadi humne itna padha diya, there will be that last thing finale. Fights over mandir, masjid, Kaaba, Gurudwara will not happen. Because it is not the truth. That doesn't mean that you claim what is rightfully yours. So I'm all for Gyanvapi Mosque and the Nandi which is sitting there looking that side. I'm waiting for the Supreme Court judgment there, of course. But this is what I wanted to say. In conclusion, I wish to offer my sincere best wishes to the school and a very warm embrace to every single teacher, and embrace is what I'm saying, who worked so hard to put this marvelous show. I'm sure you put in a lot of time and effort. Never to forget the helpers here. They're all here and there. I saw some of them, Chetan, Sanjay, Shivaji, many of them. The boys who remain invisible, but they are the strongest pillars of support of the school. Strongest. There's a very beautiful book called The Little Prince, which is for adults. It's about children, but for adults. The Little Prince by Anton the Exuberant. Very marvelous. Choti si hai, pad lena. There's a lovely sentence there where he says, that which is essential is invisible to the eye in life. That which is essential is somewhere behind the wings right now. Let's give them a big hand. And thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me here. I relived my life and a very, very joyous evening.